Greetings and welcome to another Pokemon video. So I have been hunting for shiny Pokemon a lot recently by doing Dynamax adventures in Pokemon Sword. Because of this, I have been able to get dozens of shiny Pokemon, and one of these shiny Pokemon is this Alolan Sandslash that I got a few days ago. Now this Sandslash got me thinking about which form of Sandslash I like the best, and this got me thinking about regional forms in general. I thought, you know what? You could say that regional forms are just a lazy reskin, but in reality, this is not true, because not only can they drastically change how a Pokemon performs in battle, but they can also dramatically change the look of a Pokemon, which makes it so that some Pokemon go from being meh or decent to being truly amazing, while others just get a really cool alternate look that allows you to love the same Pokemon in a whole different way. So ultimately I realized that regional forms are a good thing, which is why it's great that since their introduction, we have received new ones in every generation, including the upcoming Generation 9, which recently revealed Paldean Wooper. My newfound appreciation for regional forms made me really look forward to seeing what other regional forms we will get in Scarlet and Violet. This excitement made me think about which Pokemon should get a regional form in Generation 9, and this inspired me to make this video. So let's get to it. Now I decided to set 3 rules in place so that I don't just end up listing some of my favorite Pokemon, though I still did manage to pick some favorites. The first rule is that I can only pick Pokemon that have never received a Mega Evolution, a new Pre-Evolution or Evolution, a Gigantamax form, or a regional form. I think that one of the best things about regional forms is that they breathe new life into Pokemon that have been neglected for a long time, or that have been away from the spotlight for a long time, or that have not been relevant in recent games. So I think that Pokemon in this situation are the ones that deserve a regional form the most. A Mega Evolution, a new Pre-Evolution, a new Evolution, and a Gigantamax form can also bring a Pokemon back into the spotlight, which is why a Pokemon that has one or more of these does not really need a regional form. Pokemon that already have a regional form are excluded for obvious reasons, even if there are Pokemon with more than one regional form, namely Meowth. The second rule is that I can only pick Pokemon from generations 1 and 2, because Pokemon from these 2 generations are the oldest. They have been around the longest, meaning that they have also been neglected or in need of the spotlight for longer. So they deserve a new form the most. It is certainly no coincidence that most of the regional forms we have, including Paldean Wooper, are from generations 1 and 2. Finally, I decided that I don't want to just say which Pokemon should get a regional form and why. I also wanted to discuss what the regional forms should be like, what they should look like, what their typing and abilities should be, etc. I also wanted to show you what the forms should look like. Now sadly, I don't have the equipment necessary to draw and properly design the regional forms. At least, not in a way that would look cool and professional. But I did find a good way to show you what they should look like. In order to design the regional forms, I decided to draw inspiration from real life. Pokemon Scarlet and Violet will be set in the Paldean region, which is based on the Iberian Peninsula, which is principally divided between Spain and Portugal. Therefore, I looked into animals native to the Iberian Peninsula in order to come up with the regional forms in this video. So the third and final rule I set is that the Pokemon in this video are those that resemble animals native to the Iberian Peninsula or Pokemon that are based on similar animals. Also, do keep in mind that while sometimes only one member of an evolutionary family gets a regional form, most of the time, the regional form applies to the entire evolutionary family, which is what I will do in this video. So with the rules out of the way, we can finally get to the first Pokemon, which is, or rather are, Spiro and Firo. These two are Pokemon that I have never been particularly fond of, and they have never been among my favorites. I do think that they look cool, and I do like them. It's just that I don't love them. This probably has something to do with the fact that Kanto has another family of birds that I do love and that is or are more iconic. So for Spiro and Firo's regional forms, I took inspiration from the bearded vulture. While looking for images of this species, I found this one, which has black wings, an orange body, red eyes, or at least some red around the eyes, and it has a black band around its eyes, which extends to its beak. This forms what looks like a beard, which is where this species gets its name. I think that the bearded vulture looks awesome, which is why its appearance is what I decided to go with for Spiro and Firo, and they both look amazing. As for typing, the orange body makes me think of the fire type, while the black wings, beak, and band make me think of the dark type, which suits vultures as seen with Bullaby and Mandibus. So fire and the dark it is, which is a pretty cool combination. As for abilities, in Iran, the bearded vulture is considered a symbol of luck, so super luck is a fitting ability. I think that big pecs would also be fitting, given the beard that adorns the beak. Next up are Atkins and Arbok. Now I have always liked these two. I wouldn't say that they are among my favorite Pokemon, but I do think that they are cool. They also have a special place in my heart, because Atkins was the first wild shiny Pokemon I found in Pokemon X. I was totally not looking for a shiny Atkins, so when one appeared, I was very surprised. So surprised, in fact, that I took my phone and I recorded the battle against Atkins and its capture. The video was in terrible quality, but this did not stop me from uploading it to YouTube, and to my surprise, the video got more than 40,000 views. It is still to this day one of my most watched videos, and someone then requested on that video that they wanted me to showcase Shiny Arbok in a video, which I did, and that video got almost 10,000 views. So for me, Atkins and Arbok represent my greatest early success on YouTube, and because of this, they will always be special to me. So for Atkins and Arbok's regional form, I drew inspiration from the horseshoe whipsnake, which can be found in both Spain and Portugal. When I saw some examples of this snake, I thought of making Atkins and Arbok orange/brown, kind of like ground colored. But then I remembered that Shiny Arbok is a similar color, so I had to think of something else for variety's sake. After some research, I found that some horseshoe whipsnakes can also be grayish. So I thought, yeah, gray is a cool color, why not? But then I decided to kick it up a notch. Instead of gray, why not use silver, which is more impactful? And so, I got the idea to turn Atkins and Arbok into silver snakes. Now since this Atkins is no longer based on a rattlesnake, its tail rattle is gone, and the patterns on Arbok are also gone. Instead, they both now have dark brown spots on their back, just like the horseshoe whipsnake. As for typing, they both lose their poison typing since horseshoe whipsnakes are not venomous. Atkins and Arbok are now steel-type Pokemon instead. Steel matches the silver color, and it fits the fact that the scales on a horseshoe whipsnake remind me of armor. Though I guess that this applies to most snakes. I did think of giving Arbok the ground typing as well, since snakes slither on the ground. But since we already have a steel and ground type snake with Steelix, I opted to leave Arbok as a pure steel type Pokemon. This also distinguishes Arbok from Sandaconda, who also served as inspiration for these regional forms. As for abilities, I think that clear body and light metal match the silver coloration, the steel typing, and the fact that horseshoe whip snakes are lightweight. Next up are Manky and Primape. Now I have always had a soft spot for Primape. Maybe it's because I love Ash's Primape and the 2 episodes in which it appeared. I still hate that Primape was left in training and it has never been seen or heard from again, outside of flashbacks, opening themes, and ending themes. So for Manky and Primape, I took inspiration from the Black Iberian Pig, which is what inspired Lechonk. Now I know that Manky and Primape are more monkeys than they are pigs, but they still have pig in their DNA. Primape is even the pig monkey Pokemon. The original form I came up with for Manky and Primape is this. They are both colored black now, matching the color of the Black Iberian Pig. They now have yellow eyes, which is not really taken from the Black Iberian Pig, but I think that it looks cool given their new overall color. I also made them beefier since pigs are, well, chunky, and I made their ears longer and floppy, since pigs have ears like this. Also for Primape specifically, I added tusks, which ties into the fact that the Black Iberian Pig can trace some of its ancestry to wild boars. Tusks also make Primape look more intimidating, which matches Primape's overall demeanor. As for typing, I think that Dark type matches their new look quite well, though perhaps it does not match a pig. Still, Dark works better since Lechonk is normal type. I also think that given their more corpulent bodies, they should retain the fighting type. So Dark and the fighting type it is. As for abilities, Thick Fat would match Manky and Primape's beefier bodies, while Intimidate matches their more imposing profile. Next up is Taurus, which is a Pokemon that I have always loved. It has always been one of my favorite Pokemon from Generation 1, and I feel that it has been neglected, since it is not part of an evolutionary family and it never got any evolutionary relatives. It also never got a Mega Evolution or even a G-Max form. So I would love to see Taurus get a regional form, which is why I was eager to feature it here in this video. My idea for the regional form of Taurus was inspired by the Spanish bull, or Toro de Lidia, which are used for bullfighting. Since most of these bulls are black with white horns, I decided to have Taurus match this look. And I have to say that Taurus looks very cool like this. I opted to have the hooves and the end of the tails be white as well to match the horns. I also made the horns longer and curved, which matches the horns of all the Spanish bulls I see in pictures. I also made this Taurus beefier to match the immense bulk that Spanish bulls have. As for typing, since Spanish bulls fight in colosseums or arenas, I think that fighting type works well here. This would also match the stronger physique the new Taurus has. As for abilities, all the abilities normal Taurus has would match the new Taurus as well. But for variety's sake, I would say that Moxie, Vital Spirit, and Defiant would all match the new Taurus, since Spanish bulls are aggressive, full of stamina, and relentless, especially when provoked. Finally, we have Centroid and Ferret, which are both adorable Pokemon, and while I can't say that I am particularly fond of them, and they are certainly not among my favorite Pokemon, I do at least like them. Also, since their fellow normal-type early-game Pokemon, Rattata, Raticate, Zigzagoon, and Linoon all got regional forms, I think that it's fitting that Centroid and Ferret also get one. For Centroid and Ferret's regional forms, I took inspiration from the European mink. While looking for examples of this species, I found a few that are reddish-brown, kind of orange in color, and this gave me the idea to make Centroid and Ferret this same color as well, or at least close enough. I also made their ears, patterns, and the stripes brown to match. Beyond the color, not much else needs to change, since European minks are similar to ferrets. However, since this orange fur reminds me of the fire type, I decided to commit to this for the overall design, which is why new Centroid and the Ferret have fire coming out of their tails, and they have fire behind their ears as well. And since Ferret is the evolved form, I decided to have even more fire coming out of its body. As for typing, again, the orange fur made me think of the fire type, which is why I opted to go with this type for the new Centroid and the Ferret. This of course is what led to the addition of so many flames to the design, and I do think that fire type is a cool type for these two. I would love to see Centroid and the Ferret using a flamethrower. As for abilities, Flame Body and Flash Fire would go well with such a fiery looking fur and with the flames that now surround them. But that's everything I have for you in this video. Do keep in mind that I am not predicting that these Pokemon will get Paldean forms, nor am I saying that they will for sure get forms like these if they do get a regional form in Generation 9. My intention was only to talk about Pokemon that deserve or that should get a regional form in Scarlet and Violet. Though I did go beyond what I originally intended, since I ended up actually designing the regional forms. Therefore, the video ended up being more about regional forms that should happen or that I wanted to see. Because I ended up designing the forms, this video turned out to be far more time consuming and involved than I expected. But it also ended up being a lot more fun and interesting to make. But since it did take so much work, I do hope that you enjoyed it. Let me know in the comments down below which of the forms in this video is your favorite and what Pokemon do you think deserves or should get a regional form. If you can, also describe the form you would give them. But that's the video, as always. Leave your own thoughts down in the comments below. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did and would like to see more like it, then please consider subscribing to my channel. I love Pokemon and I love making videos on both the anime and the games. Also, please consider clicking the links on screen so that you can check out more videos like this right away. Thank you very much for watching and let's meet again in the next video.